What is good, everybody, man? This is your guy, Manny, and this is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. The Washington football team have now won 4 games in a row. Went to Vegas. The Sin City left with a win. It was a business trip. Our boys got the job done. I'm going to go ahead and roll my intro. We're going to go ahead and get into this episode. Well, what do you know? So we are back for another episode of the Back Row Redskins show. Don't know what number of episode this is, but the Washington football team defeat the Vegas Raiders. The Raiders defeat the Vegas Raiders 17-15, and it's back-to-back games of winning 17-15. What's good, Hawk? Appreciate you hopping on the stream. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing on and popping. So, might do the game story today. Might not do the game story, but we'll see. Let's just go with the flow. I'm going to be streaming until about 5:30 Central my time. So this is going to be a fun episode. So 2 weeks in a row, back-to-back 17-15 victories. I'm not going to lie. 4 weeks ago, we were so bad that I was saying, you know what, that the season should be over. We were 2-6, literally 4 weeks ago. Fast forward, 5 weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Fast forward, we're now 6-6, and we're now in the 6th seed of the NFL playoffs if the season ended today. So that's great news. Hawk says this collision course that we're on with Dallas has life once again. Yeah, man. Time Out Sports, what's up, bro? Appreciate you hopping on the stream. It says yesterday was a sweat. Yesterday was tough. Look, every single win that the Washington football team has had this year, besides Atlanta, think about it. Every single game has been a sweat. The Giants win, that was crazy. ATL comeback win, that was crazy. Even Tampa Bay, that last drive, the way that we're able to run the ball, every game has been a sweat this year. There has not been that one game that I've watched quietly or watched peacefully or just say, hey, I'm going to just kick back, enjoy this game. Every game has been a struggle. That's Washington football for you. Speaking of Sweat, Montez Sweat is coming back. He's designated to come off of the IR, and I'm excited about that because he's going to be a piece that we need moving forward. So I'm excited about the possibility of Montez Sweat coming back to the football team. We are in desperate need of Montez Sweat. But back to this game. I'm going to pull up the box score. We're going to pull up some stats. But yeah, Antonio Gibson right now, if let's say minus the games that is going to be played today, Gibson leads the NFC in rushing yards, and that's an amazing feat right now because the way that it's looking like Gibson is going to be a top 3 guy in terms of rushing yards. We look at Mccain. He had a injury and then came back. You have Dalvin Cook missing some games, so Gibson is really in play for top 3 rushing yards numbers if he stays healthy, knocking on wood. There's a possibility that Gibson can be the number 2 running back in the league when the year is over. You look at how he's running the ball. We're controlling the time of possession, and that's helping us a lot. Time Out Sports mentioned Logan Thomas, sad face. Yeah, Logan Thomas, we lost Logan Thomas. Yesterday, I was hearing that Logan Thomas had a torn ACL. Today, I'm hearing reports that that it's not a torn ACL. He could possibly return at some point this season, but so it's very unlikely right now. They're going to do some more tests. I just want Logan to be fully healthy. As much as I want to see him out there on the field, I want to see him fully healthy. But also, I'm the same guy that said that, Antonio Gibson shouldn't be out there because that shin injury that he had, he's been playing through injuries all year. He just continues to be a tough guy. When you're younger, you can play through injuries. The older you get, you got to be kind of careful, or you'll end up like a Julio Jones. People try to come back before it's time to come back, and they continue to get hurt and get hurt. But yeah, Antonio Gibson is looking good right now. I was looking at stats earlier today where people rank. I think Terry is like in the top 20 in yards. Terry's numbers have been down. His numbers have been down. on back-to-back occasions, but it's all good. It's all good. So we look at Taylor Heinicke yesterday. Taylor Heinicke was very, very, very efficient. Okay, and that's what we need. That's what we need. Hey, what's good, Luke, man? Appreciate you hopping on the stream, brother. Hawk says, shout out to this team for doing your thing on this win streak. Taylor has been balling. However, this week, coaching is going to have to step up to generate more points. Absolutely. You're going to need more points versus Dallas. Dallas is a great team. Forget what you heard. Forget all the theatrics by Stephen A. Smith. Dallas is the team to beat in the NFC East. Washington controls its destiny. If Washington wins out, they win the East, pretty much, right? But even if Washington wants to win the East, they'll have to beat Dallas at least one time. You beat Dallas 2 times, you got a pretty good shot. But you got to beat Dallas at least one time to even have a shot. I've looked at the Dallas Cowboys schedule the rest of the way, and it's fairly easy compared to what Washington has to go through. So, yeah, Dallas, I mean, they're solid right now. So we'll see what happens. But back to this game, Taylor Heinicke had a very efficient game, threw for 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked 1 time. That 1 interception, it's crazy because he made that interception at a crucial point in the game. But then he was able to drive this team to a victory. I mean, how many quarterbacks do you know throw an INT at a crucial point in the game and then come back and lead the team to a game-winning drive? So that's key. That's major. Luke says, shout out to Emily on her birthday. Both big fans of your content. Ella says hi too. Hey, what's good, Emily? Happy birthday. I hope you're having a great day, and I wish you a very, very happy birthday. And Ellis, what's good? Appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate the love that you guys give me all the time. I love it. Antonio Gibson, 23 carries, 88 yards. This guy's been getting the touches, and that's what I love to see. He also caught 5 receptions. So you're looking at 28 touches for Antonio Gibson this week and 30-plus touches the week before. So Wendell Smallwood came in, gave them some snaps here and there. I thought he was going to be more impactful, especially in the passing game, but he really was. I mean, he did catch 2 receptions for 12 yards. But you see that the coaches are not going to Jared Patterson just because they want a veteran that's going to be able to pass protect. And that's why Wendell Smallwood is in the games. That's why he's getting all the snaps instead of somebody like Jared Patterson. Now, we look at Logan Thomas. He did lead the team in receptions, 3 receptions for 48 yards. He got hurt. He did score a touchdown. Logan Thomas is a difference maker, and we see it. He should have scored a touchdown in the last game versus Seattle. They took that away. They robbed us in that Seattle game, but we came out with the victory as well as coming out with the victory here. Like I said, both games were 17-15. It's crazy how that was the score for 2 weeks in a row. But I'm really loving what I'm seeing out of John Bates. John Bates was number 2 for the team in receiving yards, 3 receptions for 42 yards. He caught a 23-yard pass. He had 4 targets, caught 3 of them. So I'm really loving John Bates. I think that John Bates and Logan Thomas are going to be a nice tandem for the Washington football team for years to come. Adam Humphreys, this guy has been clutch for us. He makes the most important catches, the most important plays for us. He had 4 receptions for 38 yards. Averaging 9.5 yards per reception, 5 targets, caught 4 of those. Adam Humphreys, look, I was wrong about him coming into the season. Adam Humphreys has been key for this football team. He's like that extra tight end or that extra running back coming out the backfield. Like the guy is just in timely places. He works that slot to perfection, and he's just out there making play after play after play. Hawk says defense has been showing out, but we're not on the upper echelon level yet. Yes, defense has been showing out, and we're going to talk about the defense in just a minute. Back to Antonio Gibson, had 5 receptions. That's big. Not only did he have 5 receptions, he had 5 receptions, 23 yards, and a touchdown. For those of you guys who play fantasy football, Antonio Gibson is finally being used to a guy that's similar to Alvin Kamara or Christian McCaffrey. We're now seeing the evolution of Antonio Gibson being used in the passing game. That's what we've been hoping for, and we're now starting to see that. If Gibson continues to get targets. He had 6 targets for 5 receptions. I think last week he had 7 receptions, if I'm not mistaken. So this is what we want to see. We want to see him involved in the passing game. Terry McLaurin had 3 receptions for 22 yards. Like, I don't know what's going on with Terry, but at the end of the day, we continue to win. It's not really about what Terry thinks or is Terry playing well, is Terry not playing well. All that doesn't even matter. All that matters is that, Terry is there and he's a guy that defenses have to plan for. I saw a graphic, and on that graphic, it had Terry. He was bottled up. He was covered by multiple people, hence having guys like Gibson open or Carter or some of these other guys. Deandre Brown made a catch this game, and I was excited to see Deandre Brown make a catch early in the game, but then he kind of faded away. I didn't see him again. It was just nice to see number 2 out there. I think he's going to continue to get better and better and better. Curtis Samuel, I don't have much to say about Curtis Samuel other than he's playing in his second game back-to-back. I think that's the biggest stat with a guy like Curtis Samuel. Like, he's going to get better. So he's going to get healthier as the season goes on. Now with no Logan Thomas, you're really going to need a lot of Curtis Samuel moving forward. Deandre Carter, pitched in with a reception. But I was talking to somebody, and I said, when you look at the Washington football team's wide receiver group, it's still very depressing. It's still very sad. You see Terry, you see a hurt Curtis Samuel that's up and coming. You see a Deandre Brown that's struggling, Adam Humphreys that's solid. You really don't even have anybody out there that's like teams are planning for outside of Terry. Maybe Curtis Samuel becomes that guy moving forward. I really don't know. I really don't know what to think of this group other than I hope that, we start to get some production out of these guys as the season goes on. If you guys are tuning in, please like, please share, please subscribe. Appreciate the love, everybody. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into what Vegas did on the offensive side of the ball. I told everybody, Derek Carr, he can sling that ball. Derek Carr acquires yards. He's a yardage getter, okay? He's a very good quarterback, but we were able to limit some of the things that Derek Carr likes to do. I said that there's one way that the Vegas Raiders can destroy the Washington football team this past Sunday, and that's with having the receivers that can go deep. Deshaun Jackson almost – do you guys remember that play where I think it was Deshaun Jackson or Zay Jones? One of these guys, and those were the 2 guys I was worried about. They go deep. They threw it, and Bobby McCain came out with a great play. When you see Bobby McCain out there playing free safety, you get scared because Bobby McCain has been burned so many times, and the guy cannot catch interceptions. He can't really do a lot of things right. But I got to give some credit to Bobby McCain. He played a heck of a game yesterday, and literally, Bobby McCain made the play of the game. He made the play of the game because, look, honestly, I thought it was over. Carr threw that ball, and I'm like, oh, man, it's a deep pass, and that's where the Washington football team struggled. Even the last Hail Mary at the end, those are just things that we've seen the Washington football team struggle with, and this team just continues to find ways to win, and that's what makes this team exciting moving forward. We're learning how to win. Every win is not going to be peaches and cream. Every win is not going to be a 30-point scoring game or things of that nature. Sometimes you have to grind out and win the games that are tough. So I got some game balls to give out, but let's get back to the Raiders. Derek Carr threw the ball 38 times, completed 28 of those, 249 yards passing. Derek Carr did not have a touchdown. Do you guys know that Taylor Heinicke has more touchdown passes than Derek Carr? Interesting stat. Now, Josh Jacobs, he's a guy that, he could play. Josh Jacobs could play. And I think that Josh Jacobs had one of his better games of the season in this game versus the football team. He carried the ball 13 times. 52 yards and a rushing score. On the flip side, Josh Jacobs was targeted 9 times, and he caught 9 of those passes. I mean, the guy had 38 yards off of 9 receptions. What I'm trying to say is Raiders are trying to get Jacobs involved as much as they're trying to get Antonio Gibson involved. Now, obviously, Kenyon Drake was out, and he's more of their receiving guy. Well, on the flip side, for the Washington football team, McKissick is out, and he's more of the receiving back. So you can kind of see like both guys being used, both guys being called upon, both guys, their teams are asking these guys to step up even more. Okay, so you see a guy like Josh Jacobs, right? Solid from Alabama, a lot of accolades and things of that nature. For some reason, Vegas doesn't like this guy, and I'm glad that he didn't get more than 13 carries. Josh Jacobs can play, but at the same time, the Washington football team's defense have stepped up. You know what I'm saying? We are stuffing the run. We're playing the run very well. And when Hunter Winfrow, we knew Hunter Winfrow was going to go off. If you guys listened to the episode that I did with Sidelines Washington, you guys saw that I bigged up Hunter Winfrow. He's one of the better slot corners in the league. I mean, slot wide receivers in the league. He had 10 targets. He caught 9 for 102. Hunter Winfrow tried to destroy the football team by himself, literally. So he had a good game. So pretty much out of the 28 completions by Derek Carr, 18 of those went to Hunter Winfrow and Jacobs. And that's credit to the defense. I said the defense, we love all these kind of underneath type throws to the Brian Edwards of the world. Kenyon Drake, he got hurt in that game. But, I mean, these are the kind of throws that we defend well. You know what I'm saying? Like all these screen passes. Now, the defense, we couldn't tackle anybody. I saw so many missed tackles. I'm like, what is going on with this football team? But at the end of the day, we made the timely plays when it mattered. So, I'm excited, but I still got to point out the issues, the mistakes, the things that we could have done better to win this game. It was a very, very close game. And on the defensive side of the ball, for Vegas, you had Perriman. Perriman is like a top 3, top 5 guy in the league when it comes to tackles made. So I told everybody, I said Vegas Raiders defense, they're good. But a lot of people were saying all this kinds of stuff, saying, oh, the defense is this and that. This is a very good defense. Ngakoue and Crosby, these guys could have got the Heineke so many different times. But somehow, some way, we were able to escape. But yeah, shout out to Denzel Perriman. He made plays. He had tackles for losses. He was just flying around. And on the flip side, Cole Holcomb, there was a couple times when Cole Holcomb was out there and he had to defend the slot wide receiver. And I was kind of mad. Because I saw it multiple times. Then somebody had to tell me, when you blitz, a lot of times your linebacker has to cover that slot wide receiver, especially when you don't get home. So I think that Cole Holcomb had a good game overall. He had 10 tackles. 7 of those were, solo tackles. He didn't have any tackles for loss, but he was in space making plays. You know what I'm saying? He had to play more so on the outside, away from the line of scrimmage more than he would have wanted to. Kendall Fuller was great, 8 tackles. Jamin Davis made plays. This might have been arguably the best game that I've seen Jamin Davis play. Not only was he making plays, I was recognizing that it was Jamin Davis making plays. Sometimes people make plays and you have to say, hey, who was that? No, Jamin Davis was out there visible. He made his presence known and he made some plays. He had 6 tackles. Bobby McCain, like I said, he had that great pass defense that pretty much saved us the game. Bobby McCain played well. Cam Curl played well. Shout out to James Smith-Williams. He has stepped up and, in a big way. Shout out to Daniel Wise. All these defensive, ends and edges that are out here playing well, getting after the quarterback. Deron Payne was stuffing the run, doing his job. Matt Ioannidis, welcome back. We haven't seen much of you this season, but he stepped up with that big sack to help seal this game. Shout out to Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen is having an all-pro type season, and look, he has to make that Pro Bowl team. With Montez Sweat coming back, it only helps this defensive line. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this defensive line. Obviously, you lose Chase Young, you lose Montez Sweat, and these guys continue to step up. So that's huge. That's huge. You don't get that a lot. To where, you have guys stepping up, next man up. One thing that the football team is doing is that they are limiting teams from scoring. I understand Dallas has a great offensive firepower, a great offensive scheme, but I still believe that the Washington football team can win that game. And I'm going to come back for an episode previewing that Dallas game. We're not going to talk too much about Dallas, but I am going to say what I am going to say is that the Washington football team, the way that they're playing, even against some of the good to elite type quarterbacks, they're playing well. They're keeping everything in front of them. Every now and then, you're going to get big plays on Washington, like deep passes. We've done it all year. And I'm just glad that Zay Jones or Deshaun Jackson were not able to destroy us in that facet of the game, because that's where the Washington football team struggles. But if we get into the quarterback, pressure might not always be there, but you know what? They're getting after the quarterback. We had 4 quarterback hits on Sunday, and that's huge. Those are some of the stats that I like to look at. You know, how many times did we hit the quarterback? 4. How many times did we defend the pass? 5. How many tackles for loss? 3. A tackle for loss is as good as a sack. That's a very, very, very important stat, and these guys continue to step up and play well. We didn't have an interception. We should have had we should have had one, but we didn't. But shout out to the special teams. We got to go in order. Deandre Carter has just been great. Anytime you're returning punts and you return 2 punts for 29 yards, that's great. Anything over 10 yards per return is great, and he averaged 14.5 per return this past week, and that's excellent. Shout out to Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson had to make a kick when it mattered, and he made it. We all know that his stats in the NFL say that he's a pretty good kicker. You know, he's perfect, right? But the extra point was the knock to this guy. So when he lined up and he made those 2 extra points, I'm like, you know what? We might have something. And being down to your 4th kicker, stepping in as a young guy that has missed extra points, I think he's 5 for 8 prior to this game, came in, knocked down 2, and then came in and made a 48-yard field goal when it was needed. Shout out to the special teams. The special teams were special. This was a great team win. And shout out to Tress Way. You can't do special teams without including Tress Way. Tress Way punted the ball 4 times, and 3 of those punts were inside the 20. That's what you call a weapon. You have these guys backed up into their own side of the field, and every single time they have to go 80 yards to even have a chance to score a touchdown. So shout out to Tress Way. Played well. Outside of that 1 interception, I think the football team played a near perfect game. The only thing that I hated about this game was Yannick Ngakoue, a guy that I respect in this league, you know, to come out there and do what he did, going low against Logan Thomas. Like, it's supposed to be a brotherhood in the NFL when you have these players, you know what I'm saying, come together to protect each other. Sometimes the refs ain't going to protect you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes your organization might not protect you, but the NFL, there's a code that they live by, which is protect one another, right? And for Yannick Ngakoue to go after Logan Thomas the way that he did, going low, I mean, that just didn't make any sense. Those are things that you just don't do. And I'm going to say this. I hope that Yannick Ngakoue has called Logan Thomas and apologized, because if not, what goes around comes around. And I'm going to leave it at that. Raiders fans were out here defending that play. How can you defend that play? What's wrong is wrong. What's right is right. And he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? In every facet of it, he was wrong. That's the only knock that I have on that. But I'm going to go ahead and go through the game story real quick. So Washington football did something that was special on Sunday. Something that hardly ever happens. If you were to bet on this stat, or if you were to bet in Vegas, you probably lose your money saying that the Washington football team go to their first drive and score a touchdown. It never happens. So if you do that, you've lost your money, okay? So here's the first scoring drive. It was beautiful. You know, they kicked the ball. We received the ball at our 25, right? We get started. Antonio Gibson runs the ball 22 yards. That's when I knew that it was going to be a good day. When Antonio Gibson, the first touch of the game, goes 22 yards, I'm like, man, hey, we came to play, right? So he does that, and Taylor Heinicke goes 23 yards to John Bates. So already you have 2 plays that are over 22 yards each. I'm like, man, it's going to be a great day. We're now at Washington's 47. We're moving the ball. Gibson runs the ball for a yard, okay? The next play, Curtis Samuel. I was glad to see Curtis Samuel out there, but he did nothing. You know, it was a catch for -1 yard. Now it's 3rd and 10. These are the times where we've either struggled on opening drives or even during the games. I'm like, 3rd and 10. I don't think we're going to convert this. I'm just being honest. That's just my honest opinion. 3rd and 10. Taylor Heinicke throws a pass, and it's thrown to Terry McLaurin for 13 yards. First down. We're now at the Vegas 17, 1st and 10. Next thing you know, Deandre Brown catches a pass to the Vegas 11 for 6 yards. So a lot of different things that I'm seeing here is, number one, we're getting chunk plays. Number two, we're moving the ball. Number three, we're getting different people involved, different wide receivers involved. We're getting people involved that you don't normally see involved in the first quarter. Curtis Samuel, Deandre Brown. I'm loving at least the effort to get these guys involved. Converting on 3rd and long. We did that with Terry McLaurin. Moving along at the Vegas 11, we run the ball for 3 yards. It's 3rd and 1. Gibson runs the ball, gains the first down. It is 1st and goal at the Vegas 7, and Taylor Heinicke hits a beautiful pass. It was a beautiful touch pass to Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas jumps up, grabs it with one hand, corrals it, brings it into the other hand, and there's a touchdown. At that moment, already I'm seeing different things, different dynamics to the game that I love. Seeing people get involved, seeing different wide receivers get involved, converting a 3rd and 10, like I mentioned earlier, and then scoring. Scoring was the biggest key. Most times we come out with a field goal. Sometimes we might even say, hey, let's go for it on 4th down. If it's like, 4th and 1 at the goal line or something like that. So it was good to see this team come out and take a lead. The very next play, Raiders go 6 plays. They go 6 plays and they punt the ball. And I'm thinking, you know what? We got to go back out there and score again. And then our next possession, the highlight of this possession was Gibson running for 16 yards. So Gibson was having a pretty good game early on. Terry was, hit for 4 yards. And then, it was 4th and 2 at Washington's 34. We punted the ball. Thank God that we have a weapon in Tressway, because he was able to flip the field for us so many different times. The very next play for Oakland Raiders, they go 3 and out. They punt the ball. Washington goes 6 plays. The highlight of this drive was Gibson running up the middle for 6 yards, and then Deandre Carter catching a pass for 6 yards. Outside of that, we didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? End of the first quarter, going into the second quarter, where the Washington's 44, we punt the ball once again. Raiders get the ball. Okay. Derek Carr throws to Winfro for 10 yards. Derek Carr throws to Jacobs for 5 yards. They're moving the ball. Derek Carr, another nice pass to Winfro for 9 yards. Jacobs, 7 yards. So it was the Jacobs and Renfro show. These two guys did well. Drake ran. He ran left. He fumbled. Washington recovered. After the play, it was reversed. Should have been a fumble, but it wasn't. Anyways, we ended up holding them. They pumped the ball to us. Washington gets the ball. And this right here was an 11-play drive. Okay. Gibson ran the ball for a yard. Then Terry caught a 5-yard pass. Humphreys 6-yard pass. Second and 10 at the Washington's 22. And on this next play, Gibson runs no yards. You know what I'm saying? Then the next play, Gibson goes for 9 yards, and then Gibson for 5 yards. First down, moving the ball. Penalty brings us back. Okay. Roughing the passer. Roughing the passer by Oakland. To be honest, at this 3rd and 9, I don't think that we were going to convert it without that penalty. So the penalty happens. Then, we're able to move the ball. Gibson runs. He loses 3 yards. We're at the 2-minute warning, right? We're at the Vegas 46. Heinicke, he's sacked. And I think that pretty much killed the momentum, if we had any, because it seemed like we could have come out with points, maybe field goal, but after he was sacked, it just kind of just drained everything. And, and now it's 3rd and 23. Like, what do you really do? Smallwood caught a 13-yard pass just because, you know what I'm saying? Then we get the ball, we punt it to these guys. Right before the half, Vegas was able to get their first scoring drive where they drove. They had 10 plays for 46 yards, and they came out with a field goal. I was upset because we were so close to having these guys shut down. We were so close. What's good, Hassan, man? Appreciate you joining, man. 4-game win streak. I'm going through the game story right now. I'm halfway through it. So the Raiders drive down, score. At the halftime, it's 7-3. You know what I'm saying? End of the half. Next play. These guys get the ball. They punt the ball after 5 plays. We get the ball. We go 6 plays, with the highlight of that being Logan Thomas' 6-yard reception. We throw a long pass to Logan Thomas to no avail on 3rd and 15. We punt the ball. Raiders get the ball back. And this is their second scoring drive. So I'm gonna go through this one. Deandre Carter hit Winfro for 15. Then he hits a short pass to Jacobs for 9 yards. Jacobs for 6 yards. Foster Monroe caught a heck of a pass for 34 yards. And I'm not going to lie, at this point, I'm worried. At this point, I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen right now because that 34-yard pass was not what we wanted, and it was Bobby McCain in coverage. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's just hold these guys to a field goal because if these guys score a touchdown, the whole game is pretty much going to get out of hand. We hold these guys to a field goal. They're Washington's 20. We'll hold them to a field goal. It's now 7-6. At this point, two things can happen. Either the Washington football team can man up and say, you know what, we're better than this, and go out there and score, or they go 3 and out or something crazy like that, give Vegas back the ball with momentum, and these guys go down and score a touchdown. So in this very next play, this was our next scoring drive. Let me go ahead and read this comment. What up, Dave? Appreciate you hopping on the stream. It says Logan is going to be missed, but he's been missed all year. He has. Finding out today that it's just a bone bruise is great news, so he might be back soon. Yeah, I'm praying that Logan Thomas is back soon because he's a big part of what the Washington football team like to do on offense. And it's notable. When we get into the red zone, we are a better red zone scoring team with Logan Thomas than without Logan Thomas. Not that we score a lot of points in the red zone. It just tells you that he's targeted. He almost had a touchdown in Seattle. He had a touchdown versus Vegas. So he's a vital part of this team. And I think that John Bates is going to fill in nicely until Logan Thomas is back healthy. But you need all the depth that you can get at tight end. So here's our next scoring drive right here. After these guys score 7-6, Taylor Heinicke, 10-yard pass to Gibson. Gibson runs the ball for 11 yards. I mean, this was the Gibson drive right here. Heinicke short pass to John Bates. It was a low block. Penalty. Washington moves the ball to the Washington 40. Gibson runs the ball, no gain. On the very next play, incomplete, penalty on Vegas. A defensive holding. Washington advances the ball once again. Look, those are two back-to-back plays where I'm like, you know what? The reps are helping us out on this particular drive, to be honest. Very next play, Taylor Heinicke, a deep pass left to Vegas 20-yard line for 35 yards. Logan Thomas caught a beautiful 35-yard pass. So this negates what Foster Monroe did to us on the other side. So I'm loving it right here. We're at Vegas 20. And at this point, I'm like, look, a field goal ain't enough. A field goal is not enough because it'll be 10-6, and then you're playing that funny game. I'm like, we need a touchdown here. We need a touchdown here. We need a touchdown here. The very next play, Gibson runs the ball, and he loses 6 yards. I'm like, oh, man. Taylor Heinicke throws a nice pass to Adam Humphreys. Like I said, Adam Humphreys made clutch play after clutch play. He makes the reception for 10 yards. Now it's 36. This is a crucial part of the game. Taylor Heinicke scrambles for 7 yards and gains the first down. I'm like, man, let's go. End of the third quarter. Now we're going into the fourth quarter, and it's 1st and goal at Vegas 9. Gibson runs the ball for 2 yards. I'm like, 2nd and goal. Gibson runs the ball for 3 yards. I'm like, okay, we're now at the 4. Do you want to run the ball or do you want to pass the ball? And I was hoping and praying that Scott Turner said pass. They ran a beautiful play. Taylor Heinicke was able to throw a nice little pass to Gibson. He squeezes in, touchdown. Washington football team 14-6 at this point. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling like, you know what, we got some momentum going for us. And I think that this is where the game really turned or changed for us. Going on to the next drive. This is the drive by the Vegas Raiders. These guys stormed all the way back down and scored a touchdown. I was mad. And the highlights of this drive was a 28-yard pass to Hunter Winfro, and it was the closest guy in the vicinity was Cole Holcomb. 28-yard pass to Hunter Winfro. Cole Holcomb brings him down. The play before that was Zay Jones, Cole Holcomb. So Cole Holcomb was just everywhere making plays. But a lot of times I'm like, man, why is Cole Holcomb out here? And it was kind of frustrating because a lot of times we would blitz, we don't get home, and then guys like Winfro would just destroy us for big chunks of yardage. Very next play, short pass to Deshaun Jackson for 14 yards. They moved the ball. Deandre Carter penalty on Holcomb, defensive pass interference. So they moved the ball to get into the end zone. So that was, first and goal at Washington's 1. They pounded in, then they missed a 2-point conversion. So for me, that was great because you now have a small cushion lead, 14-12. And at this point, you got to move back down the field and you got to score. You got to let these guys know that, hey, you're a good team. You got to show the Vegas Raiders that, hey, we know what we're doing, right? These guys started to move the ball. Good Gibson for 3 yards. Heineke pass left end, ran the ball for 4 yards. They're moving the ball. Gibson again, right guard for 8 yards. First down at the Washington 36. They're moving the ball. Heineke throws the ball to John Bates for 10 yards. I told you guys, Bates made plays this game. They continue to move the ball, and it's 3rd and 4. You're at the Vegas 47-yard line. This was key because even if you don't convert this, you can punt this and pin these guys inside their 10 with the weapon of Tress Way. Heineke tries to make a play. He threw a deep pass that was intended, I believe it was for Terry McLaurin, but he was hit in the arm. It looked like Terry was going to get open to the left, but at the same time, I was kind of skeptical. I didn't think that they were going to be able to make this play. They throw the pass, hit his arm, and it's an interception, and it's kind of like, this is how you respond after Vegas scores. So they get the ball. They're driving down. Vegas goes down and scores a field goal. So Vegas is now up 15-14 at this point. And Washington gets the ball back. After throwing an interception, I like to look at our quarterback and say, what kind of quarterback do we have? Do we have a quarterback that's willing to make the correct plays after making a mistake? In the past, the quarterbacks that Washington has had for years, right? They make plays, they mess up, and then they never rebound. So for Taylor Heineke to rebound and bounce back, and I'm going to go through this very last drive right here. This was the drive of the game right here. They kick the ball to us. We get it. Short pass to John Bates for 9 yards. There goes that guy again, Bates, making plays. Gibson runs for 4 yards. Very next play, we're at the Washington 38. Taylor Heineke throws a nice, beautiful pass to Adam Humphreys for 10 yards. First down, we're at the Washington 48 at this point. Taylor Heineke, once again, 12-yard pass to Adam Humphreys. He runs out of bounds. It was just this was a beautiful, beautiful drive. I told you guys that Adam Humphreys made plays, and Adam Humphreys was as clutch as he can get. He tried to go to him one more time, a short pass, incomplete. 2nd and 10, we're at the Vegas 40 at this point, and short pass to Antonio Gibson. He gains 6 yards. It's 3rd and 4 at the Vegas 34 at this point. And you think to yourself, what do you want to do? What can you possibly do at this point? And to be honest, I was thinking that maybe the football team, maybe they pass the ball, maybe a play action. Scott Turner does something that blew my mind, and I can't be mad at it. What they tried to do was they used Curtis Samuel up the middle, and he almost got the 4 yards, but he got 3 yards. I wasn't thrilled about the play call, but at the same time, I wasn't mad at it either, because who would be expecting Curtis Samuel to run the ball at 3rd and 4? That was a sneaky, sneaky play. Luckily for us, it did not affect the outcome of the game for us, because I was thinking maybe you throw a pass, but maybe Gibson was tired. What else could – those are plays where you have McKissick. There's McKissick, Humphreys, sometimes Terry in those situations. And, he ran the ball, didn't get the first down. It's 4th and 1 at the Vegas 31. And to be honest, we lined up like we were going to go for it. And I was like, oh, Lord, I don't know what these guys are about to do. I don't know why go for it, because maybe they're thinking that the kicker that we signed is trash. We've had the kicking issues. Maybe this kicker can't kick a certain amount of yardage. Things are going through my mind at this point. We line up for the field goal. And to be honest, I was praying. I started praying. And the guy kicked a 48-yard field goal, and he makes it. No knock to Hopkins, but Hopkins is more of a 45 yards in kind of guy. Anything outside of 45 yards, Hopkins is not good for. Okay, I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care what the stats say. This guy, Brian Johnson, came in and hit a field goal when it was needed, and he pretty much won the game at that point. Vegas, had a chance at the end. They were trying to move the ball. They did some things. They threw a Hail Mary, and we, batted it down. Game over. Washington football wins 17-15. That is the game story. Victory, victory, stressful victory, but we won. Now we move on to Dallas. I see some guys in the comments. What up, Jairus? What's good, man? Hey, Jairus, I didn't forget. On the last stream, you told me that the Washington football team was going to destroy the Vegas Raiders. I told you that defense is better than what people give them credit for. But the good thing is that we won the game. So I'm not going to call you out too much, Jairus. We did win the game, and that's all that matters. Hassan Moore says, Hump has been so clutch. He has been so clutch. That's one of our most important playmakers, especially with no J.D. McKissick. You can always count on Adam Humphreys. I was wrong about Adam Humphreys, and Adam Humphreys is proving me wrong, and I'm glad he's proving me wrong. Dev says, I could have definitely lost those games, but Washington should have beat the Chargers. Yes, I agree. We should have beat the Packers as well, and the Broncos. I think there's one other game that we possibly should have won. I mean, the football team, it's just like every year. Just like last year, there were games that we should have won, but we didn't win. It just always happens that way every single year. And last year, after beating Pittsburgh, we got on a run towards the end of the year. This year, after beating Tampa Bay, we've kind of gotten on that same kind of run. Defense has been special. Defense has been limiting teams from scoring, and that's what's propelling us to start winning these games. Let me see. Hassan Moore says, I stopped my fan from spinning during the kick. Hey, I don't blame you, man. Look, to be honest, I was upstairs. I was with my boys. They were playing. I was watching Red Zone, and then on my phone, I'm watching the Washington football game. And when he about to kick that field goal, I put that phone down, and I was like, you know what? Let me just relax. He kicks a field goal, and to be honest, I didn't know if he was going to make it. I know nothing about Brian Johnson, and for him to make that field goal, I gave those silent. I was like, I got the kids. I'm not trying to have them go crazy. So I was just celebrating. I was excited, but I knew the game wasn't over. So I didn't tweet on Facebook. I mean, on Twitter. For those of you guys who follow me, I didn't tweet on Twitter. I waited till the clock said 0-0-0. And Dev, our boy Rod. Ever since our boy Rod left the Washington Football Addicts podcast, the football team is 4-0. Football team is winning games. And not only did Rod leave the podcast, Rod went to become a Vegas Raiders fan. So I had to give him some grief after my team beat his team. I hit him up. I said, hey, what up, Rod? Guess what, Rod? I'm going to tell you what, Rod. We just beat your team. Appreciate you. So it just made it extra special for me to destroy Rod's team. Yeah, 17-15. But you know what, though? The Vegas Raiders had more playoff aspirations this year than the Washington football team. I don't care what anybody says. Vegas was a more complete team. They had weapons. They had a quarterback. I mean, they had a defense. They have all these different things. They had a coach at one point. They lost the coach. But so Vegas had more hopes of making the playoffs. Now, on the flip side, you have Washington, who has now won 4 in a row from 2-6 to 6-6. Not only that, here's the beauty of the whole thing for the Washington football team. They go from 7th seed to 6th seed right now because the San Francisco 49ers lost, and they're now 6-6. So there's a lot of football to be played. You have Dallas twice, you have the Eagles twice, and you have the Giants one more time. So the way that they built their schedule is very unique and crazy to me that you're facing 5 NFC East opponents back to back to end the season. Washington football team, they control their own destiny. Number one, they have to win out. Obviously, it's you win out, you win the NFC East, and if they win out, they'll end up with a maybe a number 2 seed, maybe a number 3 seed. But we know they're going to be a top 4 seed for sure, and they're going to get a home playoff game. But we can't look that far ahead. All eyes point to Dallas. And I'll be coming back for another episode to talk Dallas. I'm going to read this last comment, and I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. It says, imagine how it made us feel. Me, Phil, and Steve been making him mad. Yeah, man, Rod, hey, our doors are still open. If you want to come back and become a Washington football fan, you're more than welcome to come back. But you're with the Raiders now, and, you can hold this L. Since I read somewhere that we are a test conference that the NFL wants to do this with every division. You know what? It does make for better division play. Naturally, they'll have division games. They've been having division games for the last two games of the season, maybe the last 3 games of the season. To do 5 is very tough, but it makes it for better football. Because those games are going to matter so much. Fighting for the division, you're going to have more of a meaningful games, especially these last 5. So for us, it's great. Roger Smith in the building, man. Appreciate you hopping on the stream. Hassan Moore says, if we win out, we are the 3rd seed or 4th seed easily. And it'll be beauty. It would be a story for the ages starting the season 2-6. You guys can go back and roll the tape where I've quit on the team. I didn't stop doing pods. I didn't leave and go to a whole nother, team. But you know what? It just is what it is. Rod won't answer the phone when we call. Man, we are on Rod right now, man. We are on Rod. Rod, hey, Rod, we love you, man. We love you. Yeah, if we do win out, like Dev says, that's 9 straight games, and that would be a marvelous feat, to be honest. I don't think that's ever been done. Also, for the Washington football team, I can't remember, since I've been a fan since 1999, right? I have never seen a season where the football team or the Redskins at that point in time have won more than 10 games. So this year, 10 games is definitely in play. I think we beat the Giants. I think we have the potential to not blow out, but sweep the Eagles. Because at the end of the day, the Eagles are still a divisional opponent. They understand how to play us better than most teams. So I just can't say, hey, we're going to just come out here and smash all these guys. Nah, Dallas is the true test. If we can get this game next week, it sets us up for trying to get another one. And if we can get 2 against Dallas, I feel really, really, really good about our chances moving forward. What's good? Rich, appreciate you hopping on the stream. Says, what's up, Manny? They may not make the playoffs this year, but I'm glad that Ron and company have found some guys, found some really good players that didn't cost much. Absolutely. J.D. McKissick, Logan Thomas, Deandre Carter. Every single year, Ron Rivera continues to find these guys that come in, and these guys play well. So I love it. I love it because Logan Thomas was brought in on a discount. He has played well, and he's earned a very nice contract. J.D. McKissick, we got to re-up on him. We got to pay him next year. He is magnificent. And I'm hoping that J.D. McKissick is available to play next week versus Dallas. Deandre Carter has been amazing. I think that Deandre Carter has a chance to make the Pro Bowl this year as a special teams player. Says that's how you start that's how you start to build a good team, not overpay everyone. Yeah, you can't overpay everyone. You have to find these players that you can find at a bargain, and hopefully they outperform their cost. And that's what's happened. So we're gonna have to pay some of these guys eventually, but you have to continue to find these gems and continue to draft well. Says thanks, Doc. All 3 free agents. Right here, all 3 of those guys were all free agents. I mean, these are guys that we went to the dollar store, Dollar General to purchase, and we were able to get these guys for next to nothing, for pretty much peanuts. And these guys have come in and worked their way up and become solid guys. I still do think that we need to upgrade the skill position group. We need another running back. We need another tight end, and we definitely need another wide receiver. But I love how this team is fighting. Heineke is also a free agent. People forget. Yeah, absolutely. Heineke has been great, man. To be honest, give the keys to Heineke until he doesn't deserve it anymore. I'm not saying that Heineke is the future. What I'm saying is that Heineke is the present. Let's enjoy that. And maybe he can be that intermediate guy, that bridge quarterback. Because if he continues to play well, continues to manage games, continue to limit his turnovers, and he has a clutch ability kind of factor. Heineke is clutch, whether you believe so or not. He's proven it with his play. When he was doing this against the Giants and the Falcons, you can say, okay, those are mediocre teams, those are bad teams, those are poor teams. But now you do it against Tampa Bay. You do it against Seattle. You do it against Vegas. I mean, you're onto something here. So we're starting to beat some pretty good teams, and he's starting to show that ability. Obviously, the game versus the Bills, that one got away from us. I think Heineke had to come into his own. He had to realize, hey, this is what I do great. This is what I don't do great. And look, I am proud of the guy. I'm happy to have the guy. I'm going to read a few more comments, and then I'm going to be out. Taylor deserves for someone to have. Yeah. Taylor, I think Taylor has a job right now, and it's his job to lose. Whether you draft a quarterback next year, whether you don't draft a quarterback, whether you bring in a veteran. If you're not bringing in a Russell, what's his name? Russell or Rodgers or a quarterback of that caliber, that whoever that you're bringing in will have to battle it out with Taylor Heineke if they want that job. Big bang boom. What's good? What's good? Tim Sports Talk. Appreciate you hopping on. Because Heineke ain't the future. He is now, and I'll take it. Yeah, absolutely. He's the now. I can't look too far ahead into the future. I don't know what happens. Team name is coming. All those different things are coming. All these different factors. But as of right now, Heineke's the quarterback. He's our leader. And I'm going to rally around Heineke. And I think that we're going to do some great things moving forward. But that's my time. Appreciate you guys hopping on the Back Row Redskins show. And appreciate you guys tuning in to the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. If you guys want to become a member of the channel, you can do so there, wherever. Appreciate you guys, and I will catch you guys on the next episode and the next stream. We're talking Dallas in a couple days. We're gonna have another stream. We're gonna talk Dallas. Hail to the Washington football team. Woo! Let's get it. I'm gonna catch y'all later.